YouTube, we're live.
I see that.
Yes. Hello, everyone. This is our first Meet the Staff segment. Beth will be doing the interviews for all the other ones, but I am going to interview Beth for this.
The tables have turned.
The tables have turned. I am not as good at interviewing people as Beth. This is like something.
The turns have tabled.
The turns have tabled. Yeah, the turns have definitely tabled. But yeah, I used to work as a journalist, and interviewing was just one of those skills that I never like really like improved on. And Beth is fantastic at it. Like just
It
it's
says
always a
somebody's
little
saying you're on the wrong mic. So
on the
I hear you, but I
wrong
guess
mic.
they don't.
I'm on the wrong mic. Of course, I'm on the wrong mic. Oh my god. Hold please.
I mean, would it be CosmoQuest if we didn't have sound issues?
I'm assuming they can hear you. Okay.
I'm guessing that since they didn't say anything, then yes.
That might. That's not it. It's gonna come back on right when I drop an F bomb.
Veronica says yes, they can hear me.
Yay! Well, they can hear one of us. Me. That should be. Okay. Hold
It
please.
just says they're saying they can hear you, but you're rather quiet.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, exactly, Fenmel. If we didn't have
Oh.
sausage making, would it be a hangout-a-thon?
Oh, there goes my alarms. Okay. Hold on.
Nope, it's no better.
Well, my volume's all the way up.
I'm wondering if it's whatever's going out to the stream. See, the funny thing is that the mic in her hand is coming through to me
Yeah.
just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Coming through just fine.
So
Oh, I hold on.
hold, please.
I think I know what it is. Sorry, I'm like putting myself in your face. Can you
I
hear
mean, you're
me?
close enough to the camera now that they can see, like when you're talking, that the meter is actually showing
See,
you're
it's
talking.
working. It's
So
working.
no, now I can't hear you. I read those lips.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I know you can hear me. Can they hear me?
How many mics do we need to have involved? Admin says no. Didn't didn't need to hear to know what Allie just said. Nope, they can't hear you.
I don't know what Pamela did.
It's all on Pamela.
It really is.
She's not here at the moment, so you know.
I'm unplugging stuff. Can you hear me? Testing, testing.
It's like we can hear her through a mic on the other side of the room.
I know what's wrong. I know what's wrong.
Which at least you guys can hear her, because now I can't. Okay, deep breath, deep breath. Like when Pamela used to be muted and we'd watch her mouth move and we'd all like make hand signals to try and figure out what she was saying. And now they don't hear you at all. Okay. Pink Empire. Right? Okay, so you're seeing that too, Broken. Okay. A wild Pamela has appeared. If anybody can fix a microphone situation, it should be Pamela. Pamela is staring at the screen intently, trying to understand what has gone wrong now. I see your lips moving. I hear nothing. And unfortunately, my lip reading skills are not all that great. I can read your lips, but I heard nothing. It was a very silent, can you hear me? So a wide world of microphones. As long as she isn't in a Jordanian passport check area. This is true. Cursed microphone. Bill Nash.
N.A.
How's it going? Thank you for the sub, Bill. IT department, did you turn it off and back on again? Well, the thing is, Eric, she was just talking about it not that long ago. So it's not that, I mean, it is an incredibly specific reference, but she was talking about it during Astronomy Cast. So therefore. Hey, at least we haven't seen them chucking microphones across the room. So it hasn't gotten to the.
Let's do this.
All right, everybody. You know how this works. A wild Pamela has appeared again.
I'm gonna have to switch the green screening.
I hear a Pamela, but wow, Allie's looking funky. Oh, hey, there's an Allie. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Okay. Hello.
Hello. Okay, they heard Pamela, so
Now I can't hear Beth.
Oh, you don't have headphones.
Bring me my headphones.
But they're cabled in.
You can unplug them.
Oh, okay. Actually,
They might reach.
yeah,
Are we sure? Oh god.
yeah, I'm sure.
you try
I'm
not to
sorry,
injure yourself.
everyone.
Here you go. That's as far as it reaches.
Okay.
You can scoot your chair forward. I will adjust the camera in a moment.
Okay. Okay. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? And now I can't hear you anymore. What happened? Oh, this is like the most CosmoQuest-ish CosmoQuest ever.
Okay, let's try that again.
Okay, I hear Allie.
Hello, I'm sorry, everyone. This is... Whew. Like, just real talk for a second. I am like very tired and scatterbrained because I literally work 4 jobs. Literally work 4 jobs. And this is my sad sob story, just really quick. If we get funded this weekend, I will be able to pare that down to 2 jobs. And we'll be able to put more of my energy into doing CosmoQuest stuff better. But we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about Beth, our amazing social media person and our lovely guest interviewer and occasional writer for EVSN and formerly for the Daily Space. So
Recording in progress.
Oh, and apparently Pamela is recording this, so you can watch it later.
I wanted a version without the backdrop that you can use later.
Pamela is producing for me. So how are you,
Yay.
Beth?
It is a truth universally known that if Beth gets a lot of stuff done early on in the week, by Thursday and Friday, she has run out of spoons. So today was definitely I got a lot done this week. Oh, don't I know it?
It's like, oh God, I got so much done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just been doing a whole bunch of stuff across all of my like 3 jobs. So I feel your pain. And it's just been busy. And, I have a teenage kid who's working their way through a senior year in high school.
Oh,
so,
wow. Senior year's tough.
And 4 cats who don't like to leave me alone, she says, looking around and realizing there is only 1 cat in the near vicinity.
I'm a little envious of you with the cats.
Yeah, if you were at home, they'd be all over you too.
Yeah, I'm away from my babies right now. So, but they're doing good. I'll have to pop a few pictures into Discord for everyone. Because my wife keeps me like well updated with cat pictures. But so this is where I was saying earlier when I was still muted, so only Beth could hear me saying this, that Beth has an amazing skill for interviewing people, and you will get to see that on display later this weekend when we do our other Meet the Staff segments, which Beth will be interviewing the rest of us, and we decided it would be fun for me to interview Beth for our first one. So I guess we can just start with like what got you into science communication?
I mean, that's the big picture question. When I was working at a bank. That was my last career. I was doing finance, and I was trying to finish my bachelor's degree in accounting, and the 2007-2008 recession hit, and suddenly all of our perks were ended, and I would have had to pay out of pocket for my university degree, and I just really didn't want to. And I thought, well, if I really wanted to do this, I would find a way. So clearly I don't want to. And then I took a summer, and I thought to myself, what if I didn't have all of the voices in my head from all of the years of people saying you can do everything or you can't do everything? What would I want to do? And one night I walked out and I looked up at the sky and I was like, wow, I love astronomy. And then it just sort of hit me. And right about the same time, it was 2009. So it was the advent of Twitter. May it rest in peace. And NASA started doing NASA tweet ups, and they did them local to me because I have NASA Ames here. And I thought, well, this is a really cool opportunity. And Kepler had just launched, and so they were doing a lot of stuff with Kepler and exoplanets, and I was very excited by this entire concept. So I had been on social media for a bit doing things, and NASA was like, okay, yeah, no, you're active, so come to our tweet ups. And that was sort of kicked it off. And by 2012, I was volunteering for SETI and getting their social media a little bit more robust than it was. That got me hoist on my own petard a few times.
And
And
now you
now
work
I
for
do their,
SETI. Yep.
and now I work for SETI. So I created my own job, really. And then when I graduated from university with a degree in physics, they gave it to me. So I've been there for about 8 years now, and or a little over 8 years. And um, at the same time, all of this kind of happened because I was out of the science world. I started listening to Astronomy Cast and 365 Days of Astronomy, and that introduced me to Pamela, who I became a big fan of, and started going to CosmoQuest website and trying to help out with community science. I thought that was really cool. And then yeah, um I've met her a few times, on and off over the years, going to science conferences, her coming out here for a few things, and we just kind of started a friendship. And so when I decided that I didn't need to have a degree in a master's degree in geology anymore, and was going to basically stop being a master's student and focus on communication full time, she we started doing stuff with CosmoQuest. And so and now I found out I like writing. I found out I like interviewing, and now I do all of the things that 10 years ago, had you told me I was going to be doing today, I would have looked at you and laughed.
I know that feeling. I am like blanking. I apologize. I'm just like lights, production. It's weird to be on this side of the camera. Like,
It's weird to be on this side of the interview.
right? So we're both kind of like, what?
Yeah, we're both feeling a little awkward over here. Don't mind us.
I'm also just interested because, like, I used to be a freelance journalist, on in sports actually, but interviewing's always been like one of those skills that's just kind of mystified me. Like, I've never been able to like really like get it. Like, how do you approach like doing interviews?
There's a couple things that sort of go through my mind. When Pamela first asked me to do one, the first thing was what? And the second thing was, okay, channel. I think she wanted me to channel my inner, the one on MSNBC,
Rachel Maddow.
Rachel Maddow. That
Because
was who she told me
Pamela
to.
is a huge Rachel Maddow fangirl.
Right. So, it kind of gave me a basis. And as an actress, it was sort of like, all right, it's a role. It's a role that you play. And so you put on the persona of TV interviewer. And so that kind of helped me get the right headspace. But as far as doing the interviews, that goes back to my mentor at SETI when I was an intern. He always told me that when you're doing a presentation, and so I took this into interviewing, you tell a story. You have to start from the beginning, lay the groundwork, and then build into sort of like how the science was done and what people learned. So I've always tried to do it in this sort of chronological, what's the underpinning science that we're talking about? Why is it important? What is the research that you're doing? What did you discover, and where are you going next? So I have just like a rough framework that I like to kind of keep in my mind when I'm doing interviews. And so I'll just sort of write a little bit down. I don't generally tend to write formal questions or anything. I just kind of want to see where the conversation goes, because sometimes things will come up that you didn't think about. It's science. I don't know everything there is to know about every bit of research out there. So while I have like a really good groundwork for it, sometimes the details surprise me. And so I like to kind of give myself that room to ask deeper questions, to ask more information.
And that's one thing that I've always really appreciated about like listening to the interviews you do, is that it just feels like you're sitting down to chat with someone instead of asking them questions. And I really love that kind of conversational feel to it. And I'm the one who sits down and edits these interviews for television, and it's just always like a joy to listen to them and to like yeah, I get to like learn all this cool science.
And
Like,
that's really what kind of motivates me, is the ability to learn all this really cool science, and these people, a lot of the people I interview are to me the rock stars in
mhm.
my own, existence. So getting to talk to them and pick their brain about the research that they're doing, you're actually getting to go to, I can't go to Bennu, but I can have Dante Loretta come and talk to me about the material that they've brought back from Bennu, and the research that's being done and the challenges that they faced in all of this, and what it means. I there's just so many interesting people that I now have the opportunity to talk to and pick their brains, and it's a lot of fun for me because I love science and I love communicating it. It started, I think, the first part of that, even before the tweets, was going to star parties and having like kids and adults come up and ask questions about what they were looking at and the science behind it and what that meant, and being able
Mhm.
to explain it. Really was sort of that first hit.
Yeah,
It was like, I
yeah.
really like being able to tell people these things. This is cool.
And then it's just like no going back from there, right?
No, there really wasn't. And it just keeps getting better. And so I love what I do. I wish I could do more of it. That's one of the reasons we fundraise, is because I would
Exactly.
like to do more writing that people pay me for. So
Hmm. And we like, um, or I'm not sure if, I'm not sure how many of you are like aware of this, but like Beth took a step back when we were struggling to get funding so that people like me could still like stay employed through CosmoQuest. And
I'm
that's
I'm
meant a
I'm
lot.
I'm considered like mid to late career, so I'm a little bit more pricey than
Yeah,
others,
yeah.
and
Which
so
is
the
fair.
newsletter.
Like,
No, I mean, that's fine. It's just, when you have to make tough decisions, the
mm-hmm,
newsletter was the thing that kind of got dropped, and like all the script writing, and
mm-hmm.
Pamela's doing, I'm going to say, like 80% of the script writing by herself.
Yeah.
So, and Eric and Gordon are doing the other 20%, and that's a heavy weight on someone. So,
And so
I
one of our goals with this fundraising is to
mhm.
get Beth back on staff part time so that we can, have more of her amazing interviews, and so that Pamela can get some help with the script writing. Um, so that's again this is where your money's going, is to help us like make the science communication better. We're always wanting to make it better and always wanting to like just do big and amazing things. And
And as Ali pointed out, when you're struggling to make ends meet on a project, everybody has to wear different hats and take different jobs, and
mhm,
we get spread too thin, and we can't focus on the things that we really want to be doing. And that's been a very big problem for all of us on the team, in the last year and a half or so. The fact that we would love to be giving all of our time to CosmoQuest and
mhm,
working, to make this the best possible science communication media empire / citizen science project ever. But we none of us can do it by ourselves, and right now none of us can do it without taking a second or third job.
yep.
So I mean, and I love working for SETI, and that will not stop, but I would like to do more for CosmoQuest, where I can legit say they pay me to do the thing, so I need to do the thing, and not just, well, I'm doing it as a volunteer, so the paid stuff I have to do has priority over everything.
I'm just going to interrupt really quick to say thank you, Art Instro, for the bits.
It's a palindrome.
It's a palindrome. What is that? 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
So
bits?
we now have been given 3,443
Total is a
bits. So there's
palindrome.
our
That's what
palindrome.
matters.
Pamela says the total is a palindrome, and that's what matters.
And so we have a palindrome in bits, and we have a palindrome in dollars raised through Kindful. So thank you, everybody.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
And there is no dancing. Neither of us are going to dance for you. So
no dancing.
Thank you for making the palindromes happen, but no
Keep
dancing.
the money coming so that we don't dance. If the money doesn't come, we will dance, and that is a threat. No, I love all of you. I'm a little like woohoo right now. So
Allie's getting punchy.
Yeah, I've been up for a while.
There, yeah, on the diagonal. Thank you. You can dance emotes all day.
You.
That's
yes,
fine.
We love the dance emotes. That was so cute during Christy's performance. Like, just I looked up at Twitch chat and there was just this wall of dance emotes, and the Yoda ones were killing me.
I'm still impressed that I managed to get not one but two dinosaur dancing emotes and was just I had those going. I was like, I cannot believe that I have these, but yes.
I loved it. Like, that was just joy. That's one of the reasons we love doing this, is just like we get to see all the like joy it brings everyone, and it's fun to be able to like make people happy with science.
Exactly. I want people to know that this is a fun field, whether you're a professional getting to do the research or a journalist getting to communicate the science or a fan of it in the community. There is a place for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that those of us who are the science communicators are sort of that bridge between a scientist who is really good at their work, but not necessarily so good at explaining it in terms that aren't like PhD, super science-y related,
Mm-hmm.
and people who are scared of science, but want to understand, what's going on, what people are learning, and are fascinated by it, but don't necessarily have the, calculus background,
Mm-hmm.
Which you don't need. And, yes, I have, but that just means that I know how to, it gives me that bridge to explain a high science concept into language that is accessible.
Yeah, you're acting as like a translator almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is like really cool, because I know it's like I don't have a formal science background. I'm, again, proof that you can work in science communication with without a science background. I have an English degree, and here I am. But it's where was I even going with that? That fell out of my head.
FYI, when people with ADHD get tired, the trains derail every other sentence.
Yeah,
so
that's also I need coffee.
Thank you, Broken Symmetry, for the 1,001 bits to keep the palindrome going.
Yes.
And now we have 4,444 bits. Very cool.
Awesome.
I challenge you all to start a hype train.
Yes. We love hype trains.
We do love hype trains.
And thank you for explaining ADHD brain. Because it's just
I think one of the most helpful things that has happened in my working with you is that discovery that the way my brain works, while is due a lot to ADHD, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an unknown thing, right? I'm not alone in my struggles,
right.
and so for you all to be like, hey Beth, that's an ADHD thing. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah. It's like, oh no, you mean?
Yeah, and every time someone's like, oh, this is what happens in my head, I'm all, oh.
Yeah.
And then I keep sending them to my mom, who's having the same reaction. So it's like, yeah, and my kid too. So we're all,
because it's there's a genetic component to it, right? Because for folks who don't know, like Beth and I both have diagnosed ADHD, and it's caused by like a chemical deficiency in the brain. Your brain can't produce the amount of dopamine it needs to function, and so it just causes this like cascade of just issues with being able to pay attention, being able to like filter out external stimuli and whatnot, and so it gets a little weird. But I think like Beth and I have been able to kind of help each other with like just like checking in on each other and helping each other with like our endless to-do lists.
Endless, endless to-do lists
The
and how to
lists.
prioritize and coming up with schedules, because one of the things that really helps both of us is having a routine, not necessarily to the point where like it's so rigid that you can't break
Mm-hmm.
it, but having, okay, this thing is a thing that we do on Wednesdays. So on Wednesdays we wear pink, and that,
Yep.
it helps to sort of like establish these baselines. I have to say though, there was one day I use Habitica. Habitica is like my saving grace. You are adorable. And
Everyone, this is Buddy.
this is Buddy. Buddy doesn't have a tail,
Oh.
but he's a cuddle bug. Um, and one day Habitica was down for like almost 36 hours. Like the app didn't update, the website didn't update, and I was at a complete and total loss for like all of the regular things that I have to do,
Mm-hmm.
because that's where I keep track of them.
And you just feel like bereft. Yeah.
Oh no, I was absolutely floating, just going, I, shoot. Um,
That's why I have my smartwatch. Like I have alarms for everything, including eat lunch,
oh yeah,
eat
no, I
dinner.
do too. Yeah.
Um, because
And
it's
they're on my Habitica as well. And my Habitica is supposed to remind me that, it's lunchtime. Are you gonna settle?
yeah, it's funny, right? Because it's like if you don't put eat lunch on your to do list, you don't eat lunch, right?
Oh, no, 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 down. There you go.
Because I thought it was just normal to like forget to eat, and then I found out like no, most people do not forget to eat. Um,
Well, I learned that for a lot of people, like a habit means a different thing to people who don't have ADHD. It's a thing that you just do automatically.
yeah,
And
and that's like a I didn't know. I never
no,
knew
I,
that
I thought I
like
thought
most
that like
people.
the fact that I struggled with it so much was just like the worst thing ever. And like, how
Yeah,
come I can't develop good habits? And it's like, well, it turns out that I can if I have like lists that I
yeah,
follow.
and it's just finding out that it's like oh I'm not broken. This is just a thing that like just it's just my brain's malfunctioning.
It
That's
functions
all.
differently. It
Or it
functions
functions differently.
differently.
Yeah, that's a better way to look at it. And I've
Because
just
there's what is normal, right? I mean,
right.
that's the thing. It's like, who determines what is normal when you look around and you think, well, none of my friends, that's for certain.
Yeah, it's a I kind of have a running joke with people I know that it's like if more than 3 people in your friend circle have diagnosed ADHD, you should go get assessed.
Hmm.
Because we run in packs.
Hmm.
We are very much pack animals. We because it's like we're like we have like a certain set of behaviors that can be incredibly frustrating to people who don't have ADHD. So we tend to like gravitate towards each other because it's like, oh, these are my people. These people don't get like irritated at the things I do. And um just bringing this back to like CosmoQuest and stuff, one of the things that I really love about working at CosmoQuest is uh like Pamela is very accommodating and understanding of my like funky brain
Hmm.
and also just having that like support with like Beth and like being able to say like oh I'm having an ADHD moment and there's no judgment. It's just
No,
like
there's absolutely not. It's just oh, okay, so you need a little extra time or care or consideration. It's not
yeah.
oh, you're just not going to get shit done. It's like, and the thing is we have to watch each other's backs, because it can be a cascade effect.
Yeah, and
So,
it's really it's just such a relief to like have colleagues where like if like my ADHD is exacerbated one day, there's no judgment. It's just how can I help you?
mhm.
Like what can I do to like to help you get your stuff done? And I love that. That's like it's a very rare thing. Like I've never had that in my professional life before, and it's such a relief.
Sorry, I'm being alerted to dinner, and
Yeah.
task switching. Task switching is a challenge.
We
Broken,
have,
it is always okay to be a little broken. And Pamela says they totally come in packs. I am, as far as ADHD, the pet neurotypical.
Mm-hmm.
And I've definitely learned a lot more empathy from being around more people that understand me, and being able, that gives me the space to understand other people.
Yeah.
So I think that is the other reason why like science communication has become important, because of our differences. Pamela can get very focused and do the, like, I can do this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. And sometimes the rest of us are sort of, wait, what? Where did you, how?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me translate Pamela speak.
Yeah.
So
we've all gotten very good at that.
Yeah, it's the same way with a lot of other scientists that I know. They are very, very good at speaking about the things upon which they are experts. And again, it's not so much the ADHD info dump. It is, no, literally, they are an expert, and this is their thing, and they will tell you all about it if you want them to. But sometimes that communication breaks down just in a, how do I put it at a level that isn't me defending my dissertation?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why Pamela handed off the interviews to me, was because I don't do it as defending your dissertation, because I wouldn't want to do that to myself.
Yeah, you're just like, hey, let's talk about this really cool thing you did or are doing. What or which interviews are your most memorable?
Anytime I have, okay, well, I've gotten to do a few with other science communicators. So like Erin McDonald, she is the science advisor for Star Trek. I count her among friends, which is to me kind of wild, and getting to interview her and Mika McKinnon, who was the science advisor for Stargate. But I know a lot of sci-fi science advisors that I count amongst people I am friends with, and I think that is one of the wildest, most amazing things. And getting to talk to them and pick their brains and understand like what they did and how they got there, and how it works to advise on a science fiction show. Those have been really incredible interviews. Ariel Waldman, she just came out with a book, which is downstairs. I don't have it here at this desk. Talking about the science behind science fiction, particularly in space, and just the things that she's done in her career, and all of that. And obviously getting to talk to people from the DART mission.
The DART mission was amazing.
As it was happening, after it happened, I just interviewed someone on it yesterday for SETI, to talk about like what's happening now and what's going, what comes next for it. Talking about Dragonfly for Titan, talking to Dante from Osiris Rex, talking to Daniela from Osiris Apex, just kind of keeping up on all of these amazing missions that are out there. They all kind of stand out in my mind, and every so often I have a moment of, I got to talk to this person. I actually got to just like, I think one of the wilder things for me is that I send an email saying, hey, I'd like to do an interview, and I get, okay, yeah, absolutely, love to. And it's like, what? Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing about like all these scientists. It's like a lot of them, I would say like most of them are just like super approachable and are just like itching for an opportunity to talk about all the neat things they do, because it's like we're all in our hearts just huge nerds who get really excited about this stuff. And even like all these PhD scientists are the same way, like just really like love to talk about their research. And like one of my favorite things about like watching the interviews you do for EVSN is just the scientists, the way that they just like light up when they talk about their work. And you can see it on their face, you can hear it in their voice, that they're just like, they're so happy to share that with people.
Thank you. That is actually really like one of my goals in doing interviews is to put a scientist at ease so that you can see that joy.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to reassure people who come in a little nervous that I'm not going to make you defend your dissertation. I'm not
Yeah.
going to ask you zingers. I'm not going to like try and stump you. I want to ask questions that allow you some room to explain your science to people who don't necessarily have the PhD, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's I want a general audience, a general science interested audience to be able to go, oh, okay, I get it now. I see what this, why we do this, what the implications are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that also comes back to there's always going to be that pushback from certain sectors that, you know, space is fake, NASA missions are fake, all of these images are
Ooh.
fake, or and I have now learned to just like block and delete.
Mm-hmm. No, that's all
But
you
there's
can do with folks who
right,
say stuff
they're
like
not
that.
gonna have a discussion with you in earnest, right?
No.
They're not here to learn. They're here to argue, and I
Yep.
don't have the spoons for that. Um, but there is that other crowd that wants to understand why we spend the money on it. Why is it important? You know, why it's not, you have to kind of approach it as it's not just a pure curiosity information kind of thing, because well, that's nice, but people are starving. True. I can't fix that today. I can't even really learn everything I need to know about a planet today, but you
Mm-hmm.
know, everybody has to have their places. And yes, I think, you know, and that also helps when I get very stressed out and I need a break, and someone will remind me, you're not looking for the cure for cancer. No one's going to die if you don't like tweet today.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
It helps to have,
we all get so driven like that, right?
mm-hmm.
And it's like academia, regardless of like what area of it you work in, is super, super high stress.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why like a lot you see a lot of scientists get like a little nervous in interviews because they're in that like very high stress environment so much. And then to see them like
And they're
just
always
immediately
there.
be put at ease when you sit down to interview them and like I don't know, just like watching them like relax and actually like find that joy that they probably haven't gotten to feel in a while, you know?
And I think Pamela will attest to this in that a lot of the time when you're in academia, you end up in that publish or perish mindset, and there's a lot of justifying the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much money to go around. It's not a lot. If you ever look at the NASA budget or you look at the NSF budget, they're not that big compared to a lot of other things.
No.
Um, and so you're constantly having to justify the work that you do that you love, right? I mean, you don't go get a PhD out of boredom. Um, so it's obviously, you know, things that you enjoy, things that you love, and you just want to be able to do it. But I don't even want to say that half of your job. I want to say it's more like 75% of your job is constantly asking for money and justifying what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to give scientists a space to not have to feel that way, that, you know, here is a group of people who appreciate what you do, who love what you do, and who want to understand what you do. And you don't need to write us a grant proposal to get that out of us.
No, we just
You
want to
know,
know why it's cool, like why you think it's
yeah.
cool. Because it's like, and I know unfortunately, like you know, hey, this science is really cool is not a justification for funding. Unfortunately, if it was, we would all
Unfortunately.
have 100% funding.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just I don't know. But for like you know the rest of us, we want to hear about the cool science.
And I'm glad, because if I didn't have an audience, this would be a lot less interesting.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I love when I can do them. One of the reasons I like doing the study lives is that, you know, we have that live audience aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe I missed a question in there because I understand something differently, or, you know, it's not a question I would have thought of because you know, I know the step-by-step mechanics of something, and an audience member will ask it and I'll think, oh, okay, that is something that obviously, you know, needs to be clarified, or that's a really interesting perspective. And, you know, it gives me a chance to sort of bring even, more questions from the public up into the conversation. So it's not just me, faffing about being all like, look, I'm a scientist, isn't it cool? It's actually getting to talk to people and have them kind of say, hey, I'm really curious, how does this work? And because again, it's that problem of we've been involved in it for so long that sometimes we forget to explain the basics, or even like the next up from basics, right?
And sometimes the basics can be just as fascinating, right? Just that foundation. I don't know. I'm always like, tell me how things work.
I mean, this moon right here is amazing, and so I love talking about it. I love talking about icy worlds in general.
Is that Europa? Or I should know what that is.
I'm having a moment where I'm pretty sure it's Enceladus.
Is it Enceladus?
But at the same time,
No, that's Europa.
I'm tired too. So
Pamela says
and I don't
it's
see
Europa.
Okay.
So
yeah.
my vision isn't completely bad. The monitor that I'm looking at to see Beth's face is like almost on the opposite side of the room from me, and my vision is terrible right now.
Hi, I'm over here. Yeah.
So I'm just like, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I got into things like icy worlds, places. I mean, I work for SETI, so a lot of what I'm going to be interested in is where life could possibly exist. Learning about extremophiles and all of the wild places that you can find them. Like there's pink algae that lives on snow, and I've seen it. I mean, that's
so
what?
That's so cool. Like I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so
and you've got to actually like look at this.
I've seen it from a distance. Like you can see like the smattering of pink on the snow. Like we didn't go up there and disturb any of it, but you could see it. And our instructor's pointing it out, like that's actually algae. That's not like some weird, dirt or something. That's that's a living culture of creatures. And it's like, what?
Yeah,
and then taking us down to the sulfur pools and doing the same thing, where it's like, now these colors in the sulfur pools are caused by different microbes. And it's what?
Yeah, it's like, I was joking with my wife the other day about how that like humans have this like tendency to be like, there is a place where it is almost impossible to live. I am going to make a home there. And realize like just Earth is full of life that does that. It's just they're finding an Earth thing,
They're finding colonies of microbes living underneath like Antarctic ice. Like, where the water goes underneath, they're actually finding like colonies of microbes living there.
It's wild.
It's these incredibly extreme environments. And so working for SETI, one of the things that of course I get to do is talk about all these places that we find life and all these places in the solar system that are similar, that could therefore host life, including, icy moons with subsurface oceans and, tidal heating. And so
it's so cool. Like, and to think that like, extraterrestrial life could just be like right in our backyard, basically, like astronomically speaking. It's just it's really awesome. And realizing that like I have kind of a direct line to when we find out, when we eventually find something is.
And I think definitely that's one of the things that motivates me to stick with it, is that never-ending hope that the next major discovery is going to come across my feed, and I'm going to get to be one of the ones that gets to tell people about it.
That's
so it. like the massive quake on Mars, and finding out that it wasn't caused by an impact. It's there's actually some sort of tectonic forces ongoing in Mars right now. Right now,
Mars is geologically active.
Yeah, it's not a dead planet. It's not just sitting there losing, radiation and cooling down. There's things going on. So stuff like that it makes me excited to share it with people.
Stella is also excited, as I'm sure people can hear.
Not surprising.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's 48 past the hour, so I think we got to start wrapping it up so we can do our next Minecraft tour. And then we're gonna have story time with what is it, a Princess of Mars?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
And if you've never heard or read any of the Edgar Rice Burroughs, John Carter of Mars stories, you're in for a treat. They're a lot of fun. It's like kind of very goofy fantasy, but it's a lot of fun. But yeah, thank you so much for sitting down with me, Beth, and letting me stretch my not very often used interview muscles.
Anytime. And I'm looking forward to talking to all of the staff over the weekend and
Yes.
having you all get a chance to get to know all of them a little bit more.
It'd be very awesome. I think Beth and I are sitting down, switching seats, as it were. I think later tomorrow.
I think so.
So yeah, who? Let's see. I think Gordon is doing our Minecraft tour again.
Mm-hmm.
So we are gonna switch over to that now.
Okay, it's going through.
Alrighty, so we're back here on Mars, and we're taking a look at what has been done, and we're seeing that there's been a little more development around the new habitat here, which we will zoom in on a little bit. And we can see that the walls have gotten higher. This habitat, or whatever this structure is going to be, is, and I think we see this formation of some airlocks here. And soon, I assume there will be a roof added. And we're seeing more solar panels. The solar panel array has been expanded. So this is all exciting. Whatever this is, it's going to need a lot of power. And so they're generating their power. And as we saw last time, we have a habitat over here, a big yellow crane on Mars, because when you're building on other planets, you need big yellow cranes. And we have a vehicle of some sort down here. And we have one of our builders admiring their work, planning their next step. And yeah, we've got some sort of vehicle to go out and collect samples and bring them back for analysis. And of course we have the giant rocket in which we came to Mars in. And so, as I mentioned last time, Mars, there's evidence Mars had water on it, and you can see that in our site. I mean, if you've ever seen somewhere like the Grand Canyon, where you get these sharp cliffs and then a stream bed down in the bottom eroding and eroding and eroding, well, here it looks like we've got kind of one of those, some sort of erosion, and then the bottom of a river, that nice flat sandy bottom of the river that one would expect to see. And so that might be what's going on here. Future geologists will find this out. Tell us what's going on. And yeah, but I think it's getting to that time of the night when a lot of our builders are probably starting to call it an evening. Maybe some of the West Coast builders are going to do a little bit, be around for a little bit longer. But we are getting ready for story time with Star Strider. But yeah, as Ali and Beth were mentioning near the end of the interview, this is part of a fundraiser for CosmoQuest. And all of your donations, all of your bits, all of your subs, all of the donations through the website will all go to support the people of CosmoQuest and allow us to continue doing what we're doing. Thank you very much, Veronica Cure, for your bits there. I didn't see which number was floating around on the screen, but thank you very much. Every bit counts. And it really does make a huge difference. So we are going to take a little pause while we get ready for story time. We've got to sort of reorganize ourselves. And so Ali has joined me here on screen.
I'm not on screen.
In the control center, and she's going to throw the rockets up for a couple of minutes while we get ourselves all
We will be right
sorted
back.
out. We'll be right back.